Welcome to the Courtroom Chronicles. This channel is dedicated to educational content based on real-life cases and true events. This content shared here is drawn directly from the actual case file, and no names, places, or items have been changed. However, the content has been carefully summarized and presented for educational purposes in a comprehension format to inform, enlighten, and spark meaningful discussions. Whether you're here to learn, reflect, or simply understand the real-world scenarios better, you're in the right place. We believe in the power of truthful storytelling to educate and inspire. Disclaimer: while all stories are based on real cases, they are presented in a condensed and structured format for clarity and learning. Viewer discretion is advised where necessary. This case is cited from the Nigerian High Court online file, which is public record. This is a case of Senator John Owan Enoh versus Cross River State authorities. In the heart of Nigeria's federal capital territory, a legal battle unfolded that blended politics, law, and personal liberty. Senator John Owan Enoh, once a gubernatorial candidate under the All Progress APC, in the March 9, 2019 Cross River State election, found himself entangled in a web of allegations and perceived persecution. Believing his fundamental human rights were under threat, he turned to the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Warri Division, to seek justice. It was June 24, 2019, when the senator filed a bold application before the court, presided over by Honorable Justice O.A. Musa. He named as respondents the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice of Cross River State, one Emmanuel Ulai, linked to Ayade Frontiers, a social media platform associated with the state governor and the Inspector General of Police. Senator Enoh claimed that ever since he vied against Governor Ben Ayade in the elections, he had faced threats, intimidation, harassment, and was on the verge of criminal prosecution based on fictitious petitions endorsed by the governor himself. These petitions, he alleged, were disseminated on Ayade Frontiers by the second respondent. To defend his dignity and constitutional rights, the senator asked the court to declare the alleged threats and criminal investigations as illegal and unconstitutional, issue a perpetual injunction restraining the respondents from any further harassment, order the respondents to pay him $5 billion in compensation for the violations of his rights, enforce rights enshrined in sections 33, 34, 35, 36, 40, 41, and 46 of the 1999 Constitution and Articles 1 to 5 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. His counsel, E.E. Apin-Esker, passionately argued three major issues before the court: that the senator's constitutional rights to life, liberty, and freedom had been violated, that the Attorney General had no power to investigate or preside over criminal allegations already being investigated by the police, that the applicant was entitled to damages for the psychological and reputational harm he suffered. The stage was set for a fierce legal duel, but the first and second respondents weren't silent. Represented by Canis Nekpe-Esk, they filed a 25-paragraph counter-affidavit and challenged the foundation of the application. They asked the court two questions. Had the applicant provided sufficient material facts to justify a breach of any rights under Chapter 4 of the Constitution? Could the relief sought be granted under the guise of fundamental rights enforcement? Their answer was clear: no. They argued that the application was baseless, filled with speculative claims, and devoid of concrete evidence. The senator, they claimed, had not specified which rights were violated and had offered no proof, no specific dates, incidents, or documents to support his narrative. Moreover, even if complaints had been made to the police, the law grants the police the right to investigate any allegation of crime, as empowered by Section 4 of the Police Act and Section 211 of the Constitution, which grants the Attorney General prosecutorial authority in public interest matters. To further their point, the respondents cited legal precedents such as Okafor v. Lagos State Government and IGP v. Uba, stating that courts cannot stop police from performing their constitutional duties unless rights are clearly being abused. Justice Musa took his time to consider both sides. After reviewing affidavits, annexures, written addresses, and the authorities cited, the judge delivered his ruling on March 9, 2021. He acknowledged that every Nigerian is entitled to personal liberty, but added that such rights are not absolute, especially where criminal investigation is involved. Citing cases such as Adams v. AG Federation and Fawahiman v. IGP, the judge reiterated that law enforcement agencies have legal power to investigate and prosecute if there is a reasonable suspicion of crime. According to him, Senator Enoh could not seek to shield himself from such investigations simply because he was a political figure. The judge further pointed out that the reliefs sought by the applicant were not purely for enforcement of fundamental rights, but rather appeared ancillary to an effort to stop criminal investigation. This, he said, fell outside the scope of the fundamental rights enforcement procedure rules. Even if the senator was arrested as he claimed on the 13th to 15th March 2019, such detention, the court ruled, did not constitute a violation of his rights, as the Constitution permits arrest and detention within lawful parameters. Ultimately, the court held that the application was unmeritorious and speculative. With no clear evidence of a rights violation, the applicant had failed to prove his case. The court dismissed the application in its entirety, and no costs were awarded. Who emerged victorious? The respondents won. Senator John Owan Enoh, despite his high political profile and constitutional claims, lost the case. The court found that he did not provide specific, credible evidence of rights violations. The reliefs sought were not strictly for the enforcement of fundamental rights, and instead sought to prevent statutory functions of state actors. His petition was more of a political shield than a legitimate human rights enforcement claim. Reflections: how this could have been avoided. Several missteps contributed to Senator Enoh's loss. Poor legal strategy. Instead of framing the suit as a fundamental rights enforcement, he could have pursued a defamation or malicious prosecution suit, which better fit the facts. Lack of evidence. The applicant failed to present concrete proof. No clear timeline, no arrest records, no credible threats. Courts rule based on facts, not emotional arguments or political inferences. Premature litigation. The attempt to stop criminal investigations before any formal charge was premature and seen as interference with constitutional duties of the police and attorney general. Political versus legal avenues. Some of the senator's grievances were more political in nature and might have been better handled through internal party channels, public communication, or political negotiation, rather than litigation. Thus concluded the legal journey of Senator John Owan Enoh. A stark reminder that even in politically charged situations, the law requires precision, proof, and proper procedure. Rights, while fundamental, must be carefully and convincingly asserted in court. Thanks so much for watching, fam. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below, and let me know what you think about the case. I love hearing your thoughts and feedback. And hey, if you felt a connection or learned something new, give this video a like and share it with someone who might enjoy it too. Until next time, stay safe, stay real, and I'll catch you in the next one.